This is Meghan Markle's sickest stunt yet.
Meghan Markle in Paris.
But yeah, but it's also because she doesn't have any friends and she doesn't have anyone else to go with. So like, why not walk in with people that you've paid to be there with you?
Now, I think she's also a sadist and a psychopath who gets off on the misery of others.
Meghan Markle quietly attends Balenciaga's Paris Fashion Week show. Quietly.
Quietly!
It's time to deploy the Markle Sparkle. Enter Paris Fashion Week, and I'm about to go all over the place, so make sure your tinfoil hat is within arm's reach, and while you're at it, grab your top sheet or your closest roll of toilet paper.
You can see her walking openly in crowds, which is just hilarious considering that Harry comes here every month or so, demanding that the taxpayer pays for his security because he claims that him and the children and Meghan don't feel safe.
She doesn't have any friends and she doesn't have anyone to be there with. And so the bodyguards are the overcompensation.
The Sussexes have done a lot of damage to the monarchy.
It just shows how unclear and how unguided they are with everything. And it just makes chaos, I think, for the royal family now to have to deal with, to be quite honest.
You know, Harry and Meghan set out to do deliberate damage. I call them saboteurs.
Brat, to be honest, and very, very entitled.
Harry and Meghan, they have an issue when it comes to their memory and when it comes to the truth. They will struggle to secure the great headlines that they were going to receive later this week because of how silly she behaved in Paris.
Now let's have a look at Meghan Markle being weird and inauthentic.
She built her whole rep on independence and authenticity, a memoir, a manifesto, and a lifestyle brand with a clean label. Then she walks into Paris like a walking perfume ad. White on white, halo sharp, camera ready.
The white on white Messiah gown. Or some people call it the toilet paper gown.
I mean, other than looking like a toilet roll, Meghan Markle is contributing absolutely nothing.
The look read like a coronation, and the internet read it like a press release. Call it the white on white Messiah gown. Call it the toilet paper couture.
It was an appalling outfit. Everybody looked at it and went, oh God, what is this? This sort of white flowing thing, really rubbish. And, but of course, for her, mission accomplished. I mean, it was dreadful. It was awful, but it was eye-catching, and it was always going to take the front pages by storm. She knew that. Mission accomplished, right?
Whatever you call it, it was meant to read pristine, saintly, comeback. But when the flashbulbs settled, the receipts didn't match the halo.
The shallow shows where thin models and thick men wear stupidly expensive clothes.
This woman is really, really not oppressed. She's opportunistic.
And the one question that turned a fashion moment into a scandal was the simplest. Who paid for all of this?
Meghan Markle is always attempting to, shall we say, build relationships with very, very, very rich men.
When the cameras stop narrating and the invoices speak up, the fairy tale gets footnotes. And those footnotes, they shredded the script. She arrived like a set in slow motion. Glossy hair, perfect posture, a white cascade that said confidence.
Spent the weekend there showing plenty of behind-the-scenes content. Now, let's just take a look at the Duchess strutting for the cameras.
Paris Fashion Week is the world's stage for reinvention. It was supposed to be the soft relaunch. Instead, it became an exam.
During her Paris Fashion Week appearance, which was another desperate and craven attempt to grab the limelight while William was getting some good publicity.
The suite she stayed in was a penthouse with a nightly rate that makes normal people choke. Wasn't booked under her name or her nonprofit. It listed a corporate sponsor nobody could initially verify.
Why was she there? Why did she leave her husband and children in Montecito to be seen at Gay Paris' legendary ode to haute couture?
That detail is tiny on paper, huge in optics. In fashion, who signs the tab is the signal. Who pulls the invoice matters as much as the dress. At first, it all looked familiar. Celebrities borrow outfits, brands loan limos, stylists hustle the look, but this time, the borrowed world had an extra wrinkle, a brand with old wounds. Balenciaga's name carried baggage from past campaigns that didn't land well.
Children were posed with teddy bears dressed in bondage-style gear. it was predatory. And Meghan Markle is accepting an award as Humanitarian of the Year on Thursday for protecting children online. She shouldn't be promoting a brand accused of predatory behavior.
Pairing a public figure comeback with a brand still clearing PR rubble, that's a tactical risk, one the internet was not about to let slide.
Now, look, it's not being received well, certainly not as well as maybe she would have hoped, with some people labeling it as Zoolander war.
Then receipts started floating. Screenshots of invoices, social posts tagging Balenciaga. Did Balenciaga sponsor this? People asked. Some fans defended the optics. A lot more people smelled a mismatch. The conversation jumped from nice dress to whose card is this in 2 tweets and a TikTok edit. When a big name brand says, no, we did not sponsor this, the silence around the denials becomes louder than the glamour. A Balenciaga spokesperson's single line, we did not sponsor or fund Ms. Markle's visit, detonated across threads.
But certainly it does appear that she wasn't invited to Paris Fashion Week, but she did invite herself, and there she was.
Are you joking? It's bad.
It's terrible.
It's stupid.
If the brand didn't pay and the star didn't either, then who did?
Meghan Markle, she makes everything awkward. She makes everything. She just should have stayed a royal and rolled the thing, because she acted like, oh, I don't want to be famous. I want to be left alone. And now she's calling up these designers and inviting herself. How awkward. How awkward was that phone call when the guy's like, oh, no, she wants to come. Like, who pays for the hotel? Who pays for the flight? Who picks up the tab? When her number comes up on caller ID, let it go to voicemail.
That vacuum gets filled fast. With gossip, with receipts, with theory. And once social media smells uncertainty, the whole thing goes to war. Influencers post theory, tabloids print it, and pundits turn it into a morality play. The optics, not the invoice, became the ruling document. But here's where it gets messy. Some outlets framed it bluntly. She invited herself. That's the tabloid shorthand that does more damage than a dozen think pieces.
We saw all the photographs of Meghan Markle in Paris at Fashion Week, with her feet up in a limo, but it's been revealed that Meghan Markle actually invited herself to this Paris Fashion Week show earlier this month. Now, the Balenciaga designer has claimed that she reached out and she said she would love to come to the show. I mean, Andrew, reading this, it does not surprise me.
Invited herself becomes shorthand for crashed, and the public loves a crash. The nuance that sometimes the fashion world operates on informal invites and last-minute calls evaporates overnight. If you read the scene as a PR moment, you might see a strategy. Show up, look stellar, seed conversations, get headlines.
Attention-seeking as ever, she wore one of his outfits, a weird, cascading, bright white affair that made her look like a scruffy version of the Pope after a night on the tile.
If you read it as a misread of the room, you see a rookie error, aligning with a brand still tender from past mistakes.
Their spring 2023 campaign included props referencing a U.S. Supreme Court case on images of minors, along with disturbing artwork and books.
But the narrative that sticks isn't nuance. It's a headline-friendly sentence. She invited herself becomes an accusation dressed as reportage. And once that phrase catches, the playground gets louder.
Oh, no, it's always a delight, isn't it? Paolo Piccioli is his name, the wonderful, amazing alliterative designer. And basically he revealed, well, she wasn't really invited. He sort of asked if she could come, and come she did.
Friends whisper, PR teams panic. The first fracture lines appear. Days after the runway dust settled, the couple accepted a humanitarian honor for work on online harms, the kind of symbolic moment designed to shift public attention to substance. Admirable, right? But the contrast was brutal. Flashbulbs in Paris, then speeches about protecting kids online.
Were you protecting children when you were promoting a brand that was accused of inappropriate behavior towards them?
The optics were not subtle. Supporters said, look at the work. Critics said, look at the timing. The algorithm loved both takes and fed them to the world on repeat. Meanwhile, gossips busied themselves with leaked emails and alleged invoice screenshots. Inside Montecito, sources whispered that Harry felt blindsided, that he thought this was a coordinated PR move, and then discovered a private company's name on the bill.
Maybe Harry's no use to Meghan anymore. Maybe the divorce rumors are actually true.
Harry just can't give her anything else anymore. He's served his purpose. His purpose is over. So for her, it's time to move on.
If true, the humiliation factor isn't just public, it's personal. Silence from official channels followed. No clarifying posts, no firm denials beyond the brand. That silence, it's ammo. Everyone builds a version of the story to fill the quiet. Here's the PR law no one wants to ignore. Association is reputation. Attach yourself to a brand trying to rebuild from a major controversy, and you carry some of that residue. Balenciaga's prior ad scandal left scabbed over wounds. Walking into that arena without a clear rope line is playing reputation roulette. Brands and celebrities share risk now in a way they didn't a decade ago. A partnership is no longer private, it's evidence. A no comment becomes a headline. A single ambiguous invoice becomes the story people believe because it's easier than parsing nuance. And the public? They're done with gentle takes. They want receipts, they want accountability, they want patterns. So when a famed humanitarian ends up next to a brand with blood on its PR ledger, people don't ask for your intentions. They demand your paper trail.
Absolute media manipulation. But I thought tonight this was really ridiculous.
She is so odious, it's beyond belief.
Then came the twist that turned gossip into a rumor thriller. Leaked banking traces suggested the penthouse wasn't booked by Balenciaga, Archewell, or her name at all. It showed up under a third party. Journalists traced it back to a Los Angeles entertainment firm linked to a wealthy investor, known in whispers as Mr. X. Once a mystery man enters, the plot thickens, and the guesses get nastier. Was this a professional facilitation, a favor, a personal bailout, or a strategic investment in access? The internet loves the triangle. Celebrity, benefactor, brand. It's the perfect geometry for scandal. Inside the household, sources allegedly said Harry felt humiliated, thinking the trip was coordinated under one premise, only to learn someone else had quietly signed the tab. Arguments reportedly flared.
I know that they have troubles in the marriage. I understand from now 6 separate reliable sources.
PR strategists called it a catastrophic oversight. Staffers shook their heads. Trust, once a soft commodity, can become brittle very fast. Then the leaks began, or at least the tabloid versions of leaks. British outlets published alleged email snippets, collegial tones, friendly banter, hints of past collaboration. Nothing proved a direct financial agreement, but in the court of public opinion, familiarity is guilt adjacent. The back office unraveled. A personal assistant who'd warned against loose agreements reportedly resigned. Staffers allegedly updated resumes in stealth mode. When your team starts thinning, your story shrinks with it. Friends and collaborators who once boosted your narrative began to distance themselves. Hollywood stylists quietly removed her name from lists. Invitations to events that used to arrive by private message stopped appearing. Montecito turned into a fortress of curtains and quiet. Neighbors said the house felt different. Gates closed, lights dimmed, and the mood moved from public-facing to bunker.
She will find a way to bounce past him to some other taker who might actually just love the guy. She will take her royal kids, who can still go by prince and princess, and find the billionaire.
The comeback arc stalled under a press of whispers and slideshows. At this point, the narrative split into two fighting camps. One shouted, smear campaign, that the story was manufactured by haters using a breadcrumb of truth to build a bonfire. The other camp accused the star of a PR misstep, aligning with problem-laden brands and accepting favors that ate credibility. And not to mention that stupid stunt she pulled driving past Princess Diana's crash site.
And there she goes, to drive past it, to video herself with her feet and her toes up like that.
Are you joking? It's bad.
It's
terrible. It's stupid.
This is the same town that her mother-in-law passed away in. Prince Harry says it was due to paparazzi, and Meghan's literally chasing these flashbulbs throughout the city. And then, you know, she's 1 mile away in that video from where Princess Diana, you know, had her last breath, lost her life.
Each side had a soundbite. Neither had a full ledger. The media loves a fight because fights generate content. A tweet becomes a column. A column becomes a TV split screen. The public, starved for clear verdicts, tasted both narratives like appetizers and picked whatever fit their appetite. The truth? Probably buried in a pile of invoices, emails, and private conversations that nobody will publish unless they want a second headline. And through it all, a rumored documentary crew sniffed around the receipts. If that film ever airs, it could reopen wounds bigger than a temporary reputation bruise. In this arena, legacy matters, and the palace's quiet scorn can tip perfunctory whispers into scandal. Strip away the jokes and the memes, and you're left with a small, ugly truth. Perception trumped proof. The confirmed facts are simple. A high-profile appearance at a sensitive moment, a brand with a recent PR catastrophes in the background, and a public that's primed to decode every move. The contested facts, who paid, who coordinated, who knew what, remain in rumor territory, fueled by invoices that look suggestive but don't meet legal proof. The result, a comeback that looked rehearsed instead of authentic, a household that allegedly fractured in private, and a reputation that's now the subject of memos and whisper threads. In celebrity economics, credibility is the scarcest currency, harder to earn than a bank transfer, easier to lose than a trending hashtag. So what happened? Was this a misread, a misfired rebrand move that accidentally walked into a brand's bad history? Or was it a smear smeared by memes situation where the rumor engine outran the facts? Maybe both, maybe neither. The point is this: when you build a persona on transparency and message, every unexplained invoice looks like a crack in the foundation. Tell me which side you're on. Type optics if you think this was a bad time fashion cameo. Type playbook if you think there's a deliberate PR machine at work. Type receipts if you want the paper trail to be the final judge. Hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Because when receipts or docs drop, you'll want to see what happens next. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see more royal chaos, feel free to check out some of my other videos on the top of the screen. Until next time, stay tuned, stay safe, and stay informed. Only on Tea Time with Tina.